Welcome to the Global Peace Project. This is Zeus. We got a kind of filling in because I don't have the apps to actually make a production, which is kind of fun, isn't it? You know, improvise me, improvise. And I found out through trial and error that I had to make up some sounds to fill in the gaps. Why? Because you can get blocked, and you can make a really good video and that not even come through for anybody to see, and that is just the way it is, I guess. So you work with it and you create the actual soundtracks you want to, which I did write that song, which is pretty cool. Now, AI helped with the tunage, and I am so grateful to AI. And it's interesting how you can take a thought and then implement it without having to involve a whole bunch of people, which in some cases makes it a whole bunch easier, because easy is I don't have to deal with any resistance. Now that is pieces that you put together, which, interesting enough, is just what life is all about. Because tell you what, you could have everything and die, or you can have nothing and die. And it's all a matter of your thinking, because if you think death is even the project, it has nothing to do with it, because you're here for a while, and it's okay, because you're energy. And once you are created, then you will continue to live it, and the thinking of the mind is the very essence of where you're at all times. Because you can think a thought and it have an impact of feeling, which is a vibrational response that you interpret through its frequency, which you know as your feelings. That is so freeing, because if you can gauge your direction based upon your feelings and trust it's going to a venture that's going to benefit others without doing harm, because that is the key to life, is to in no way, shape, or form cause another to hurt. And that's an interesting concept, because how does that happen? Because are you even, question, are you even responsible for how a person feels? And in goodness, let it always be something that we're always portraying our very best in order to attract to us stuff. Because the realization that power comes from money only is in a system that agrees that that money is real enough that we can now move in a direction that the money is talking. But without the money's talking, then I ain't got the time. And truthfully, there is no time. It's just an imaginative state of occupation in the thoughts that I think. To come to a present mind of a thing, you must be invested. Now, you don't have to help with everything, and that's the beauty of it, because you go by your own feelings, and nobody can tell you how you feel about a thing. Only thing you can do is possibly convey how I feel about, let's say, how I feel about love. I can tell you, I think love just gives me that extra oomph in life. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel like I can accomplish anything. Because if the universe is for me, how could it be against? So if I've got a plan that maybe would benefit others as well as myself, because I'm not a sacrifice, and neither are you. So then when you walk into that with the thought of what is it that I really am here for? Because truly, I mean, if you're here and you've made it this far, you're pretty well thinking to yourself, this is a magical ride. Because it truly is, because everything is a projection of self, and I am the one that's projecting that self into the future for a mirror response. Whatever it may be, laziness, okay, importance of how I treat myself is other people will treat me the same way. And that's an interesting thing, right? What am I devoting to my practice to be the very version of me in the actions that I do? And do those actions feel good? And if I was to think about it, in some areas, they're not really a first choice of thought, but I want to transverse those thoughts into a reality that is beneficial for myself and for others in a way that I can feel good. And so the vision is, how far can I go with my thinking, right? And I think Kevin Trudeau, in one of his teachings, he was teaching about the depth of vision. What am I seeing for my future? And can I build upon it and know that I am getting better, better, and better? Maybe not there all the way, but I am getting better, better, and better. And that's a projection of self. And then when self projects itself in such a beautiful manner, of course, you're doing the, the 5 minutes of internal smiling. That's when you actually close off to the outside world, close your eyes, and you just see yourself. And you can put your hand on your heart if it feels good to you, and just project your mind to that part where you're touching your heart, and then you're looking from the inside of your heart, and you're just smiling because your cells are there and they all love you. It's an amazing experience for them, because for me personally, I don't know about you, I have neglected that fact about who I am. A construct of 50, 60 trillion cells. In fact, I don't even really know that cognitively I had even associated myself with a construct of cells that are just like me, like little carbon tapes, exactly printed out, just like me. They got emotions, they have sex, they defecate, they urinate, all those things. And I had not even known it. In fact, I would say, why am I not this, or why am I not that? In a disruption of, instead of thinking of, I would think of the negative, and the negative would come. And so it's been true since the very beginning. But then when I remember, it's not remembered because that's an ending salt. And you know what? I don't even think that we can put an ending on the thoughts that we're thinking in order to come to more peace, because it's just forever. It's love, love upon love, and how can I expand that thought process? Now, I realize in the dualism of the world, they want you to go from evil to love, as if you're going to see that all the time, and that's really the only place that you need to express love. And so therefore that is a voluntary response of, this up and down. And that yin and the yang is only dispersed with when I focus from the aspect of love into a process of giving more love. Why do I do this? It's very self-serving. The self-serving fact is the love that I'm expressing, first off in thought on what I want to do, and then the act of doing it. And maybe the act of doing it doesn't even compare to what I think it's going to be in my mind, but it's okay, because I get the result of the feeling that ensues. the result of the feeling that ensues. And that's really what we were always going for. And that's one of the benefits of meditation. You can feel any way you want to feel and think about whatever you want to think and create whatever you want to create. And it's there, and you have created it in thought, because your thinking is the first stage of creation. That's the manifestation. Creation's first step is the thinking of it in a positive mindset. And in that positive mindset, now you're moving into a vibrational set point. And the more that you think about it, the more that you feel really good, the universe starts to vibrate and stuff starts to happen around you. But you've got to continue the focus on what you want, because what you want is coming, and that which was in its place is being broken apart. And that is an interesting place to be when you realize your world is falling apart. But in the midst of the falling apart is the reconstruction. You cannot have a construction on the old stuff. The old wineskin has to go away. I think the Bible says that. It says that, when you put a new wine into a wineskin, it's got to be a new wineskin, otherwise it bursts, right? Because it's pretty well maxed out on its expansion, and you fill it up to the brim, and now that new wine expands. That's the whole idea about putting it into a new wineskin, because the expansion. And you are an expanding being. And the only expansion can come from the knowledge that I don't know what I don't know. And it's always happening in my favor. And with that being the case there, the joy that is coming to me is magnificent. And even when I think that this is the level I need to be at, I got better coming. That's the funny thing, because if the universe is for you and I'm friends, there's way too many conclusive evidence in the science realm and in every possible field that I've seen that things do not always make sense. Can't prove it. But regardless, and with that being the case, sir, we walk into it with faith and with love. And we know that good is coming to us. Unless the expectation is set, you cannot receive that which you're really wanting, the expecting of it. The Christmas time's coming. Christmas is coming. There's presents coming. Let's live. Today is the day of your amazing good fortune, and I thank you. Remember, if you really like this, or maybe a little bit like it, like and follow, pass off to as many people you know, mate. And Cash App, I do have Cash App, money sign, Global Peace Project, with PayPal's Global Peace Project. Love you. Have the best day ever. Be the highest version of you. I thank you for your time. Bye.